One of the world's most violent cities is just across the border from San Diego, over in Mexico. Tijuana, one of the highest murder rates on the planet, is in that city, and journalists are among the many victims. In Mexico as a whole, 9 reporters were murdered last year, and 4 were victims of targeted killings in the month of January alone. They include Lourdes Maldonado Lopez, who was found shot dead 2 weeks ago outside her home in Tijuana. In a news conference back in 2019, she told Mexico's president that she feared for her life. CBS News' Enrique Acevedo is in Tijuana for us this morning with why Mexico is so dangerous for journalists in particular. Enrique, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. What's happening here in Mexico can be described as a war on truth. Only one side has AK-47 machine guns while the other is holding a notepad. Historically, most of the journalists are targeted for exposing corrupt officials or gang members, but this recent surge in killings is fueling a public outcry for protection for the nation's reporters.
Aimee Melo, the only female crime photographer in Tijuana, reports for Punto Norte, a news outlet that specializes in crime stories. She rushes around the city covering a migrant camp, a fire, a murder, knowing that her camera makes her a target.
It's not really clear where danger is. Might be just around the corner.
Sí, desgraciadamente.
Unfortunately, yes. Danger is always around the corner here.
But she's committed.
We're more afraid of staying quiet.
Exacto. Tendría más miedo.
Exactly. I would be more afraid of not facing the reality.
Part of that reality, funerals for colleagues. Just this past Sunday, a public mass for 2 journalists was held.
News photographer Margarito Martinez and veteran reporter Lourdes Maldonado executed only 6 days apart.
At least 148 journalists have been killed in Mexico since 2000, and 90% of those crimes remain unpunished.
According to a report by the Department of Justice, as many as 70% of all the guns used in violent crimes in Mexico are traced back to the U.S. Mexico's government filed a lawsuit last August accusing gun manufacturers in the U.S. of facilitating the trafficking of weapons to criminal organizations in Mexico.
But lawsuits don't solve the problem of Mexico being one of the most lethal countries in the world for journalists.
In a statement, the Committee to Protect Journalists called upon Mexican authorities to act immediately. We were covering this story here in Tijuana, and a 5th journalist was killed over the weekend, but his death is not being treated as a crime against journalists because it appears he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That shows you how the violence against journalists is connected to a larger cycle of violence here in Mexico, Tony.
Yeah, and Enrique, the numbers bear repeating. 4 journalists in targeted killings in the month of January, 9 murdered last year alone. You're there as a journalist yourself. It's not lost on me. And I wonder, what else is the government doing there in Mexico to help protect journalists?
Well, they've created a mechanism of protection for journalists who feel that their lives are in danger. I asked one of those journalists if he had a panic button or some sort of communication with authorities in case something happened, and he said it's basically a group chat between journalists where they take care of each other and let each other know if something's happening. You can imagine how difficult that is in these conditions.
Yeah, it sounds like that'd be good for the mind, but not necessarily that protective for the body. I hope more is done. Enrique Acevedo with an eye-opening report from Tijuana. Enrique, thank you very much.